Recording has stopped.
Go shopping later. Let's we go shopping. Yeah. All the things.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Parrots, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Parrots, I heard the message recording has stopped. You want to turn it on?
No, Yoel's recording it.
Okay, fine. So I heard the
It's being
message
recorded?
has stopped.
Yoel put it on, yeah.
Yeah, it's being recorded? Okay, good morning. Okay, sorry for everyone that we started a little late. We wanted to give a chance. Three very important and interesting questions that very asked this week. Many people called and asked in this and that variation. Number one is about davening, the special Seder that's going to be this year. The most important question that people asked me, are we going to say Hallel on the night of Pesach at the end of Tfilas Ma'ariv, the way it's Minig Sfora, the Minig Chassidim? So I saw here there is a, I get these things from my, from Rav Tzvi Shechter, Rosh Yeshiva and Yeshivas Rabbi Yochanan. And I typed up here in the sheet that you have, he writes that Amidas Hal Balel Pesach and Dafka Bispal Betzibur Kashabir Rabbeinu Zal al Pi Hagro Muvurin Yebenefesh Rav. Okay, so I want to explain. Bekitzer Rabbi Shechter holds that you don't say Hallel, and he's wrong. Why does he think you don't say Hallel? So yeah, it starts with a pilpul that he has in Nefesh Rav. Over there, he brings from the Gra Hilchas Chanukah, and the Gra says that what's the idea of doing the menorah in the Beis HaKnesses and making a brach in it? So he says it's just like the Pirsum Nisa that we do in the Beis HaKnesses, the Hallel in the night of Pesach. So, and based on this, he has a whole binyan. The Rav had this thing that he created this concept tzibur hakavul tefillah, that when the tzibur is already davening mincha, if after mincha you're gonna light the menorah, then you make a bracha. Otherwise, you don't make a bracha. True, I had in the Bronx. So I had was a rabbi in one of the shuls. It was a small shul, and we used to make big menorah lightings. And he asked if we could daven mincha, because I said, yeah, fine, you could daven mincha. Because it was very important, because otherwise, according to the Rav Soloveitchik, you can't make a bracha on the menorah. Then this Rav once asked me about the sleeping in the sukkah, and I made the silly mistake of giving him the actual answer. So I figured I'm respectful, and with the menorah, with his mishigas, and so I learned, just because you're respectful to someone, I learned from then on never to answer the real answer. I give it with a little bit of a shtoch. The person who instituted this minig mitzvah gekenta one mesechta, one daf gemara more than the question the person who's asking. But I'm very careful from then on when I answer people about the sleeping in the sukkah. To talk about the people who made the takona and not so much about the takona itself. Maybe they're not keli yet to understand. But anyway, be it as it may. I used to let that there should be a minion that daven mincha before because it didn't hurt. He had a minion on the side. We used to have maybe 100 people, but there was a minion on the side. I didn't bother me. But who says it's a beautiful pshat? And if you won't make a brach and a public menorah lighting unless you're right after mincha, tzibur hakavua l'tefillah, then you have a problem with saying halal. It's a pilpul on a pilpul on a pilpul. Like the Lashon the Gemara, arvach boy. First of all, who says that this Persume Nisa has to be with a tzibur hakavua l'tefillah? Who says that? First of all, and who says for the gros zushtel b'chlal? Who says that the Rishonim accepted? And we'll talk about this. And if it's a union if it's a union, who says it has to be a tzibur kavua l'tefillah? And what's if they finished davening mincha and two people went out to the bathroom and then they came back? It's already broken the tzibur kavua l'tefillah. Anyway, I don't see any raya for this whole thing. So at first, let's just go into the yisoid of where we get this whole thing of halal the night of Pesach and Befrat halal in the that we do in the Beis HaKnesses, which is minik Sfora, the minik Chesed, the minik Chabad. The Gemara in Pesachim Daf Tzadikei says, "Ashir yeh lachem kelelis kadosh chag." At the postek in Yeshaya, everyone please put on your mute. Thank you. And the Gemara in Yerushalmi, the Perek Tes Halacha Gimel says, "Bol olamed v'nimtza lamed," because the Torah says a story that Sanchedev and his armies, 180,000 men, are going to be in the night of Pesach. They're going to make a siege against Yerushalayim, and the Torah says, "Ashir yelachem kelel is kadosh chag," that you want that you're going to sing kelel is kadosh chag. So we see from this that the leil miskadosh chag in the night of Pesach that you are supposed to do the song of Halal. The Gemara says in Pesachim 10 daf earlier, Pehei, that the derech was when they ate the korban Pesach, they used to sing the Halal with such chayas that was Paka Igra would bust the roof. At kedekach, they would say with chayas the Halal. It's interesting. The media actually learns it from lechem oini, lechem she'oinim ala dvarim harba. That's the oinim, the aniya on the lechem is the halal. Now let's look in the Shulchan Aruch in the second paragraph of the source sheet that you have here. It says Shulchan Aruch Siman Tov Pei Zayin B'leil Rishon Shel Pesach Gomer Mahalal B'tzibur B'ni'ima B'bracha Tchila B'soy V'chein B'leil Sheni Shel Shnei Yomim Tovim Shel Golius, the first and second night of Pesach. Our meaning is not that way. And that's the way the Alter Rebbe brings in Shulchan Aruch. Yesh mekaymes noegen ligmar halal b'tzibur b'bracha tchila b'soif b'leil rishon shel Pesach acher tfilas arve v'chein b'leil sheni shel Golius. V'ein noegen came b'medinas elu. We don't do it. She'ein onu koydem klal halal b'Beis HaKnesses b'layla zeh. There's a very interesting story that's told about the Alter Rebbe. And that's also a raya in Tim Tzaloyme to the question at hand. That there was a little shtetl, and the Alter Rebbe was there for Pesach, and there was one base Knesset in the town, and that was Misnagdim. They didn't allow the Chassidim to have their own base Medrash. It was the night of Pesach, and the Chassidim wanted to say Halal, so they waited till all the Misnagdim went home, and then together with the Alter Rebbe, they came back. And they started to sing, and they said, Halal with Amoyre de Kachayas. In the meantime, the Shamish, the Beis HaKnesses, hears that there's noise going on in Shul. He didn't know what's going on. This Ruchis, Neshamas are coming, singing songs in the middle of the night of Pesach. He got really nervous. He went running to the house of the Rav. The Ravich and Glach verstanden what's going on. That there must be a clandestine minion of Chassidim in his town. Oh, he got really angry. He ran to the shul and he caught them. They were finishing Hallel. He went to the bim and he banged on the table. He says, "She steht in Shulchan Aruch, also steht in der Maramo. We call ze ein anu noyagin kain. We're not noyag this way." So the Alter Rebbe smiled and he said, were you there when the Ramo wrote his pshat and he wrote his Hagos on the Shulchan Aruch? How do you know that he wrote ein anu noyagin kain? Maybe he wrote I, Rebbeinu Shalom, Vozamenton, Vozamenton, ein anu noyagin kain. We're not noyag this way, unfortunately. What can we do? So, if the in Tin Salayim, if the story is true, that itself was already upschlag to Rabbi Shechter's thing. He writes in his thing that even if there was a minyan doing a seder together, but since there wasn't a kvius of tzibur akavur l'tvila, then they can't say halal. But according to the story, the Alter Rebbe and the Chassidim snuck back into the shul, and unless you say that they didn't daven ma'ariv, and now they had their own minyan of davening ma'ariv. Okay. Anyways, the story is not a raya anyway for halachas, but it's a miktzas raya. Okay. So let's go to the next piece, the next paragraph. What's the reason for this halal that we say in the Beis HaKnesses? So the Tur brings, and it's from Masechah Soifrim, Perek Chof Halacha Tes, Mitzvah Men Mufcher Likras Halal B'Shnei Leilas Shel Golius Labarach Alav Ala Omri B'Neima L'Kayim Hashanema U'Neroim Mishma Yachdav. Shekoyre Bebeisei Ein Tzorich Labarach Alav Shekvar Berach Alav Barabim. This come out word for word the way it's written in Masechah Soifrim. And the Gro writes in Siman Tov Pei Zayin, where the Shulchan Aruch talks about this. He says that the reason why Ashkenazim are not knowing to do it, they hold that this takana was only made for the people that are not baki and they can't say halal. So therefore, they are matakim for them to say halal in the Beis HaKnesses. But today we all have agodas and we're baki, we can read. Therefore, there's no point in this original minig in reading halal in the Beis HaKnesses. But obviously, according to minig Svara, that's not the reason, because we're Bekiyim today, and we're still doing it in the Beis HaKnesses. Obviously, there's a very different reason for it. What's the reason? It seems to me that the reason is very simple. There's a big sheklatarium in the Rishonim why we don't make a ha'bracha and the halal that we say night of Pesach. It's such a chiyuv. It's more important than all the halal that we always say. It's chmerumas even in the Divrei Kabbalah and Tanakh. Hashir yelach leil hiskadesh chag. So when we make the bracha after we finish the halals, so why don't we make the bracha before we start? But Taka the Meforshim, many asked this question, and the Rebbe Zagoda and Daf Lamed Beis, he brings several terutzim. One teretz is because we're mafsek in the halal. Half we read in Magid, and half we read later in Halal Nirtza. So because it's broken up the mitzvah, we can't make a bracha before it, because we're not going to see, can't say, you're not going to read the whole halal right now. Another one is, it's like a koida b'toida. The third teretz is, it's like koida shita. It's not really, it's a different thing as halal, it's a din of shita. A fourth teretz is, you're sitting, derech like this, with your wine, and the matzah. When you stand and you're saying it ve'amensh, that's when you make the bracha. So at emes taka, we don't want people to stand in the middle of the seder because it has to be derech chedus. But also doesn't make sense when you're sitting and leaning and you have matzah crumbs all over you, that in such a matzah you don't make the bracha on the reading of the halal. So it seems to me that the Bnei Sfarat said, that's the reason why Chachamim made the takana to read it also in the Beis HaKnesses, because over there we could read it b'ne'ima, with singing. And it has a mila also that the Yidden are reading it together. And therefore, you're reading it in one go, and you're standing, v'chulu, and therefore you can make the bracha. And imtim tzaloimer, it's almost mafurish this way in the Iran. Look at the Iran that I bring you at the end of the third paragraph. Mafurish achri beran psachim chavava medalav sheik shalom ein mevorich on the halal, and he give the teretz tiretz arashba sheik takonas halal balal pesach bebeis haknesses hoisa v'lo bebeis lefikach ben shama beis haknesses ben lo shama ein mevorich bebeis sheish v'chacham medesayim. The Iker Takonis Halal Leil Pesach was in the basic Knesses. And therefore, that's where you make the bracha. And the Chachamim Mahishmim be the same. When you say it the second time, then you don't make the bracha. So, according to this, if that's the Iker Takona, who says the Iker Takona was the Dafka that has to be a minion in the basic Knesses? And what's if the Vidavans be Yechidus? So, and what do all the Chabad women do the night of Pesach when they daven? All these years, they don't come to shul night of Pesach, but they daven, right? Ask your wife. Does she say Hallel? Yeah, they say Hallel. And what does a shliach do when he makes a public seder? You can't make a minyan. It's not la b'chdei sheyasa. Just like with the public menorah lighting, you can't make a minyan mincha. It's it's a funny thing to organize. So the shliach davens b'yechida. So what do you think? The shliach doesn't say Hallel afterwards. He says Hallel. Sure, he says Hallel. So just like the shliach says Hallel, and just like your wife says Hallel, this year you're also going to say Hallel Amit Hashem b'soif tfilas arvis. And you'll say the Mitzvah Hashem with a bracha. As I said, this whole thing that it has a psadin with a tzibur kavul tefillah, no one says it. It's not brought in a rishon achron or in a poisek b'shom mokem. It's a nice word if you need to say a chidush and you need to say a shtickle Torah. But lamaisa minig aviseinu and the minig svarad was that they say it the Leil Pesach. And obviously, it's Neroimim Mashma Yachdav is more important. If we would be able to have a minyan and a Mitzvah Mashiach Tzedkenu will come, and we will be able to do it this way. Otherwise, Chas v'Shalom, if Mashiach Tzedkenu didn't come yet, and it was Nisakiv, and we're davening at home, we'll say Hallel with a bracha b'soif tfilas arvis. The next morning we have Birchas Hatal. It's a very problematic thing for a yochid to be moisef anything in the Gimel Rishonos of Tefillah. It's obvious that this is a special thing that only the tzibur could do. So before you daven Mustaf, if you want, you could say the piyutim that are there, but not part of Shemini Esrei. You could give a knack on your bima in your house and announce that it's now tal, and you'll say Mustaf. And I'm sure there's some minyan, because it's supposed to really be that the tzibur ushers it in. This tak has a din of a tzibur, that the tzibur now, but definitely there's going to be many places where there is going to be a tzibur, even here in New York, that are going to daven, and they're going to bring in the tal. So there's no question that we're nimshach after that tzibur. But before we daven Musaf, we'll announce tal, and if you want to say the beautiful piyutim right before Musaf or right after your own Musaf, preferably after you daven the Musaf, then you could say the special piyutim. Okay, so to summarize the first question, special things in davening this year. Hallel, yes. The special piyutim and tal, no. Before you daven Musaf, announce tal in the house, and you start saying tal. After you finish davening Musaf, turn to the special piyutim and say the special piyutim, sing the songs, v'chulu. But you can't say that's in the Gimel Rishonos like the Chazan would say it. A second question that's a very important question. People are asking, what's going to happen when Mitzvah Shem, when we open the shul again? Are we going to be mashlam all the parshas that we missed? Are we not going to be mashlam all the parshas? So what's going to happen to Simchas Torah? If we're not mashlam those parshas, how are we going to celebrate Simchas Torah? We missed already Vayakal Pekuch Lal when you daven. Are you supposed to open a Chumash and then say the Kriyas HaTorah, Shabbos, Yom Tov, Haftorah? What should be done? Okay, so look, here's the second question here. Tshuva. Pasuk b'Shulchan Aruch Eirachaim Siman Kuf Lamed Heisev Beis Ba'Hagoah. In Botel Shabbos Achas Kriyas Parshas B'Tzibur, if one Shabbos they didn't say the Parshas. So the Shabbos above next Shabbos, Koyden Oisa Parsha, they read that Parsha. In Parsha Shaykh Oisa Shabbos, they read first the missing Parsha, and then they read the next Parsha. So say if we just missed Parshas Tzav, next week Shmini, we would read Tzav and then Shmini. A question how you would do it, if you would do it like break it up like Vayakal Pekude, or Kohen itself would do the whole first Parsha Tzav and the first Aliyah in Shmini. Mishnah Berurah Sivkot and Vav writes like this: Im bitlu kama Shabbos. What if they miss several Shabboses? And this is the big question here. You only read the last seder. So that would be a whopping Shabbos. So if we would do that, so say we reopen basement Achamandel, say for example in Parshas Shmini, so we'd read Vayakal Pikudei, Vayikra Tzav Shmini. I think people are going to skip that Shabbos. They're going to say we're going to be a little extra careful. We're going to come the next Shabbos to shul. What's the Svaras HaMachloikis? The Svaras HaMachloikis is simple. The mocker of this whole thing is from the Or Zerua. And you look in the end of this paragraph, it's in Hilchah Shabbos Simon Vav, he writes, Maisa B'Kolonia, there was a store in Kolonia, there was a big fight in the shul, a person started throwing benches. He's an addition, by the way. He thinks nothing is new under the sun. You think things are new in 770, Tzvatim in 770, nothing is new. Kolonia, hundreds of years ago, there was a big fight in the middle of the shul, benches were flying, people ran out. The kids said they couldn't finish Shekiriyas HaTorah. So he said that you have to be mashlamit afterwards. In the next Shabbos, it was Emor and Bahar. So he said you should read Emor and Bahar because it was Takonas Moshe Lahas to be mashlam the whole Torah. I mean, it wasn't Takonas Moshe to be mashlam the whole Torah. The Gemara in Megillah Daf Chavtes discusses it. There's the minig that was to do the Torah once in 3 years, and then there's the minig once a year to finish the Parshas, and we do once a year. But what he means, all in all, Moshe Rabbeinu made a takana that we should have an organized thing that we read the Torah, not stam that we read the Torah every Shabbos. That we read the Torah in an organized way. So Moshe didn't care if you're going to finish the Torah once in 3 years, once a year, but that there should be a seder, Bereshis, Noach, Lech Lecha, there should be a certain seder. And Lepoil, we accepted upon ourselves this seder that we do it once a year. So therefore you have to be mashlam. According to the Svar of the Or Zerua, so if you missed, what's the difference if you missed one Parsha or 10 Parshas? The idea is that when you get to the finish line, that you read all the Parshas. And that's mashman, that's why also in the Gemara Brachas Daf Ches that we learned, it's in Shulchan Aruch Semeresh Pehei, the Chayiv Adam Lahashlam Parsha Yosef Imatzibur Shnai Mikra Vechatargum, that there is an Inyan that the Tzibur goes Bereshis Noach Lech Lecha Vayerech Hayesora Toildas, and also a person he learns every week that Parsha with the Tzibur, either through Rashi and Chumash, through Chitas, or through doing Shnai Mikra Vechatargum, which is the Halacha Psuk in Shulchan Aruch Semeresh Pehei in Hilchah Shabbos. It's a tough halacha to keep, but that's what we try to do. So that's the svara to say that you should be mashlam all 10 parshas. But the Gra in this Siv Bey says that it's similar to Hashlama of Tefillah. So we know by Hashlama of Tefillah is that you only mashlam if a person missed Shachris Mincha Ma'ariv, Shachris Mincha Ma'ariv, Shachris Mincha Ma'ariv, three sets, 9 tefillahs. So he doesn't go daven now 9 times. He's only mashlam the previous tefillah, and that's it. You never mashlam more than 1 tefillah. So according to the svara of the Gra, that's a din of Hashlama, you only go back 1 parsha. And indeed, later there is another machlok Sivkot and Zion. What if there was a double header, and next week it's a single parsha? Bahar B'chukoisai, for example. And next, would you be? One opinion says you never read 3 parshas in a Shabbos. Magen Avraham says also you wouldn't go from a sefer to a sefer. So that's one svara. But the other svara disagrees. Obviously, the svara that says you can't read 3 parshas in one Shabbos is obviously never going to hold you read 10 parshas. But the opinion that holds that you do read 3 parshas, within that, some say, okay, if last week there was 2 parshas and this week's 1 parsha, you have it 3. But the other one says, no, you go back 10 parshas, as much, whatever you miss. There's an interesting Shiloh that's actually going to be this year. Anyone that didn't end up going to Israel for Pesach, hopefully by Shavuos this whole thing is going to be behind us, and you'll be able to rebook your tickets for Shavuos. Okay, now you're going to have this classical Shiloh. You're going to have what's going to be the Shiloh. Shavuos is Friday Shabbos. So for Bnei Eretz Yisrael, Shavuos is Shabbos. I'm sorry, it's Friday. Shabbos is already. It's already next Pasha. That's for them. It's going to be Shavuos. Is going to be Nasai. It's going to be Parshas Nasai. For them, it's going to be Parshas Nasai. Now, for the people, the Bnei Chutzlars that are going to be in Israel, it's going to be Shavuos. It's going to be Shavuos. It's going to be a Shavuos. So the Shaila is, if they're going to be in Israel for the next Shabbos, they're going to hear Baloischa, not Nasai. So what do? So there is a machlokes here when if there was a disturbance, a fight in the shul and the shachris. By Mincha they came back and now it's quiet. Dogel Merabava, the Nerd Behuda and the Orach HaShulchan says, so fine, whatever you missed in the morning, read by Mincha. But the Chidah says, no. He brings it out from the Zoya. By Mincha, there's a small reading. You don't do long readings by Mincha. Next week, Shabbos morning, you do it. So, according to that, would be the Nafkamina. If you're going to be Ben Chutzlaretz in Eretz Yisrael for Shavuos and you're keeping Shavuos 2 days, so the Shabbos morning you're going to read the Kriyas HaTorah of Shavuos, and then if you go like the Dogel Mervava, you're going to read Parshas Nasai, the entire Parshas Nasai by Mincha Shabbos, or if you go like the Kaf HaChaim and the Chidah, then you next Shabbos, even if you're in Israel, you'll make a special minyan and you'll read Nasa and Baloischa. Or if you're in Chutzlaretz, and you can make such a minyan. Back to our question. The next paragraph. Shad Ephraim was written by Rabbi Ephraim Zalman Margolis. They say a story. He was a Gon Otzim. He wrote many svarim. Oilalis Ephraim, Shad Ephraim, Toides Ephraim. They said Reb Chaim Volozhiner came to collect money from him. He said, I'm not interested in the Oilalis Ephraim, the Shad Ephraim. Ich will haben von the Yad Ephraim. The Yad Ephraim. So in the Shad Ephraim, he brings up a very interesting thing. He says that this whole thing that if you missed out a Pasha, you have to be Mashlim is only when the minyan got together and there was a fight that broke out. So there was a Chaloy Sachiv for them to read. And now they fell apart, so they have to be Mashlim the reading. But if the Yechidim are davening at home, it was never Chal the Machiv to do Kriyas HaTorah. It's a big Chiddush. So according to this, we're not going to have to be Mashlim anything. The Sefer Churas Shai Simon Tov Nun Tes is Choylkenim. He says, first of all, a lot of Achrenim. Choylkenim, he brings it on that in the beginning of Mesachas Megillah. That why do they? It says that the Bnei Kforim are mocked them to read the Megillah and Yom HaKnisa. He says because on Mondays and Thursdays they would go into town to hear the whole Kriyas HaTorah that they missed out on Shabbos. So it's mashma that you do have to be mashlim even though they were Yechidim. And he says, in general, there's a concept mashal and parshas if you didn't tzibah. How are you going to end the year and make Simchas Torah if you missed out parshas? In the Bircha Shmuel from Reb Baruch Ber. Reb Baruch Ber was the prize Talmud of Reb Chaim Brisker. A lot of his Torahs that he brings in Bircha Shmuel is from Reb Chaim. He brings a chiddush and a beautiful chakira from Reb Chaim Brisker. He says, what's the din of Kriyas HaTorah? Here, this is a brilliant, this is a classic Reb Chaim. A classic Reb Chaim Lomdus. He says, is it a chiyuv that's chalan at tzibur? When there's 10 yidden together, there's takonas Moshe Rabbeinu that they have to read the Torah. Or it's a chiyuv of me and you and every yid, just like we have a chiyuv that the chachamim are machayev us to daven 3 times a day. But if we want to execute the chiyuv in a perfect way, and we want to say Kaddish Kedusha Baruch, we have to go to shul and do it with a minyan because Haggadah Kedusha you must have a Asara. Same thing here. Moshe Rabbeinu was mataken to read the Torah, but to do it the proper way, you have to read it with a minyan because Mishum Kavod the Torah, to take out the Torah and to read it with the brachas v'chulu has to be done with the tzibur. And he says an interesting nafkamina. What happens if there's 4 people that didn't hear Kriyas HaTorah? Could they pull over another 4 and do Kriyas HaTorah or not?
6.
They have 6 that didn't hear. 6 people didn't hear Kriyas HaTorah. Could they pull over another 4? It has Shabbos, Mincha, Beis Menachem Mendel, right? 6 people came into shul. They didn't hear Kriyas HaTorah yet, but everyone else heard. But there's at least 30, 40 people in shul, but only 6 people didn't hear Kriyas HaTorah. If it's a mechiyuv on the yechidim, so 6 people have to daven, and they have another 4 in the room, so you have a minyan. That's good. But if you say it's only a chalois once you have a tzibur, so you have to have 10 people that didn't hear Kriyas HaTorah, not 6. Lamaisa, when we make minyanim for Gimel Tamas, for example, and Yud Shvat, what do? As long as there's 6 people, right? Okay, so now here comes l'choyde posh cheshbon. If you say that the chiyuv is on the yechidim, l'choyde, so why would the chiyuv go away just because he davened at home for the past 5-6 weeks? He didn't have a minyan, but the chiyuv didn't go away. It's mistaba that it should be mechayev to be mashlamit. But if you say it's only when there is 10 people, there's chal chiyuv in them to read the Torah. But there was no 10 people. Everyone davened alone in their house. So then this would be an afkamina in the Chakir Reb Chaim. If you say that it's a chalois, that when there's 10 people, then there's a chalois in them that they have to lane. So there was no 10 people. We don't have to be mashlam. But if you say that every yochid has a chiyuv to hear Kriyas HaTorah, so l'choyde we'd have a chiyuv to be mashlam. The worst thing is the block minyonim. There are block minyonim that they don't have a sefer Torah. They definitely have no way out because they already got together. So I was doing the suga with my brother the other day, and he said, he said that he came Shabbos to visit my parents from the window, and they said, wait, oh, now we have a minyan for mincha. He said, what's the glick? Why are you trying to make a minyan? Do you know that when you're going to finish this, you're going to have to find a shul that's going to agree to read for you Vayakel, Pekudei, Vayikra, Tzav, Shmini, Tazriya, Metzoida. You don't have a Torah here, but you have a minyan. So there's no way you could say you're not chayiv to be mashlam. Anyone that's davening b'yechidus without a chochem, oiba chochem, block minyan. So you could say that there is a tzad to say Rabbi Ephraim Zalman Margolis was a big poisek. Besides the big Yad Ephraim, he also had a big Shad Ephraim. And Shad Ephraim is very ungenommen. So, and he holds that there was no tzibur, so there was no chalois chiyuv. So we can go with that and not have to make another Kriyas HaTorah. But someone that had a block minyan, they didn't have a Torah, definitely they'll be chayiv to be mashlam. However you turn to be chayiv to be mashlam. Lamaisa, it's brought to Maisa Rav, even though from the Vilna Gaon it's mashma that you only have to be mashlam 1 week and not 10 weeks. But it's brought to he was in jail for 4 weeks and afterwards he called for Bakoira to read the Torah. Some say, Zaraya, the Lamaisa holds you have to be mashlam all the Parshas. If you look closely in the story in the Maisa Rav, it's not clear that he actually had a minyan. Maybe the Bakoira read it for him in his house. I'm not sure. My question is, we don't see from Rabbi Seina Niseinu. What did the Alter Rebbe do when he came out of jail? He was 53 days in jail. He meant several parshas. Also, the Frierdiker Rebbe was in jail for a few Shabbosim, right? We never heard that he made a special minyan afterwards. We never heard. And you can't say, you didn't hear it. Leute, you know, in Araya. We would have heard. I mean, the Frierdiker Rebbe didn't happen that long ago. 1927, many Yidden that were Zoche to be around. My Zayda has been here several times. My Zayda was there at the time. We haven't heard that they made up a special minyan. So that's I'm not sure. It says if you didn't get together a minyan, as long as you didn't make an oibachach and block minyan, so you were yechidim, there was never a chalois achiyuv. Even though usually, and the other flip side, we're usually makel, and we don't, and we read the Torah even if you don't have 10 people. That now there's a chalois achiyuv. Okay, so we don't have to paskin every Shabbos like the same din, the same way. Okay, at least the first Shabbos when we open Beis Menachem Mendel, we're not going to do a Kriyas HaTorah just for 6 people. We'll say that really you need to have a chalois of a tzibur, and then you can have and then it's a chal the chiyuv of Kriyas HaTorah. And since we were yechidim, then so we're not going to have to make it up. One more Nakuda, which Baruch Hashem, Chazdei Hashem, I found this right before we started the Shiur. In Ktsois HaShulchan from Rabbi Avram Chaim Noah and Siman Chof Hey, Sif Yudalad, he brings from Mari Bruna. Mari Bruna was one of the latest Acharonim, Rishonim. You know the Nusach that we write in the Pan, on the Loyer Rachim Rabim Bavuri? This is a Nusach that comes from the Mari Bruna. He writes, Misha loy shanu hakriyas ha'torah b'tzibur, yikra la'atzmoi ha'parsha metoich ha'chumash. Plain and simple. Now, I'm not sure if that applies also to Yom Tov or only to Shabbos. Because the Lashon ha'parsha, it sounds like maybe it's definitely it's a very good idea these days that we don't have a minyan for every person to do Shnai Mikra V'Echad Targum. Simply, there's a little more time. You're not going to shul, you have a little more time. To do it the proper way, Shnai Mikra V'Echad Targum, is definitely. We learned the Gemara in Daf Ches recently, and the Gemara says that a person that does it gets Arichus Yomim. And I said my pshat, because it's a tough thing to do. So the Eibishter says, don't worry. The time you'll invest, you'll have more time to live. So don't worry. You're not wasting any time. Definitely, there's a shita in the Rishonim, the Raven, that the Iker Inyan of Shnai Mikra is for those that don't hear Parshas Matzibur. Even though we don't pass in that way, we pass even if when you do hear Kriyas HaTorah Matzibur. But Kol Shekain, the Raven, which is a Choshev Edishin, so when you can't hear Kriyas HaTorah, definitely you should try to do Shnai Mikra V'Echad Targum in the real way of the Minik Chabad, Pasha Tu Psukim, and then the Targum. If you didn't get a chance and you're doing Chumash and Tanya and Tehillim and you're doing the Rashi, that counts as well. As long as you read the whole Parsha a second time. So you had the Chumash and the Rashi counts if you have no choice instead of the Targum because it explains the Pasuk. And then you read over the whole Parsha in one go. Rambam Bialduse held that if you don't have a kosher Sefer Torah, you could still read from a Sefer Torah that's not kosher. So maybe that's the reason the Mari Bruna. If you the Chumash, a printed Chumash, is not a kosher Sefer Torah, but still he holds that every Yochid has the Chiyuv of Kriyas Torah, and you could do it by reading from a not kosher Torah. If that's true, then also on Yom Tov. So I would suggest that definitely on Shabbosim, everyone should make sure by the time you get between Shachris and Musaf, if you didn't finish Shnai Mikra, you should finish off Shnai Mikra, and Minik Chabad is also to read Daf Torahs, obviously without the brachas. And on Yom Tov, it's not a long Kriyas HaTorah. If you want, between Shachris and Musaf, you could do that Kriyas HaTorah out of the Chumash. The Eibush shall help from that we should very soon open up Beis Menachem Mendel again, and we should read Kriyas HaTorah with the sweet Balkoida that we have. Rabbi Yanko, we're missing his delicious Kriyas HaTorah. Definitely, once we're going to be back, that we're going to be medayik and not chas v'sholom talking, giving the Sefer Torah the proper space, and v'omdu kol ha'om, it means we're going to do it not begashmi stand, but with the kovet for Sefer Torah, and not talk, and not even talk ben gavra lagavra, and not to talk from the beginning of Hoidu until the Kadosh Basra. The Alter Rebbe says the Kriyas HaTorah is, we learned it in Chitas last week. It's why is it called Kriyas HaTorah? Because when a Yid, it's like a child calling out to his father, Tata, Tata. Definitely, this is the time that we want to call out to the Ribono Shel Olam. Tata, Tata, and there's no better way to do it than through Kriyas HaTorah. So now that we don't have Kriyas HaTorah, at least we'll do what the Mari Bruna says, Misha lo shama Kriyas HaTorah b'tzibur, yikra la'atzma parsha metoich ha'chumash. The last Shailos for today is this. This, yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I think we can't forget to have a Seudah Hodah.
Yes.
After it's over.
Yes, definitely. We're gonna have to make a big Hodah. We're gonna have to be a big Suda Seidah. This week's Parsha is actually the Arba Tzrichim Lahoidos. Carbon Toida, which is the Birchas Agoimel is based on the Carbon Toida. Okay, I'm going to go to the next Shaila. Everyone, please put yourself on mute. Right after I finish the Shaila, unmute yourself and then ask all the Shailas that there are. Okay. This Erev Yom Tov, we have to make 2 Eruvim. Everyone has to make an Erev Tavshilin, and many people, if you live in a building and there is a shared space, if you have an alley with a Erev, if you have a driveway with an Erev, it's customary that we take a box of matzah and we are mezakit for all the people in the building, all the people that share the driveway, all the families that share the alleyway, and we make an Erev Chatzeris. It's a box of matzah and it's accessible to all the people. Everyone, please put on mute. So the thing is that this year there's an interesting question. The question is, usually you give it to someone else to be mezakit for all the people in the building, all the people in the block. For both Erev Chatzeris and Erev Tavshilim, who are you going to give it to this year that everyone is at home? Okay, so let me read it quickly from the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch. There's a story. I couldn't find the story right now, but it's anyway. The source is not so. I'm not going to find it in Rashi and Tosfos anyway. But there's a story that the Shagas Arya couldn't get along with the mother of Reb Chaim Volozhiner. Repeat. The Shagas Arya, was a Rav in many cities. He couldn't get along with the people in the city. The Shagas Arya was a very sharp person, and there was no diplomacy with the Shagas Arya. He told it to you straight in your face. So that wasn't a big segula of keeping a position for many years. He was the Rav also in Volozhin, and Reb Chaim, his father, Reb Zalman, I forget what his father's name. No, maybe his brother was Reb Zalman. His father was a rich man. He was the Rosh HaKol, and his mother was the one that held the pants in the house. And she was always at odds with the Rav of town, the Shagas Arya. So they say that she said that she wants to be mezakeh for the people in their courtyard for the Erev Chatzeris. He said, no, but a woman can't do it. She said, but I could do it. A reason a woman can't do it is because she's eating out of her husband's hand. But my husband eats out of my hand. So I could do it. So this machlokes between the Shagas Arya and Mrs. Volozhiner, really you'll see here in the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch. Okay, sagt the Alter Rebbe, when you're mezakeh an Erev, like Erev Chatzeris or Erev Tavshilin, in order, when you give it to someone else, you can't do everything yourself. You're giving it to someone that person's picking it up for anyone that wants to be zoich in this Erev. All the people in the building, all the people in the house, all the people in the block. Or when it's Erev Tavshilin, other people that want to cook and rely on your Erev Tavshilin. Is lo yizak al yedei b'noi bita aktanim afilim nesmuchim u'shechana. You can't do through your small children under bar and bas mitzvah. V'lo avde v'shivchas ha'aknanim mipnei sheyodan ki yoda. Their hand is your hand. V'lo yotza erev mishutz. It never went out of your rishutz. Aval mazak l'madei b'noi bita gedolim. You can do through the gedolim. Afilim shmuchim u'shechana. Aval pi sheyodan ki yoda in yemetzia shemetzias lavim. Zein elam shom eivish limonim emizoynes. Mtiv metzias la'atzma. Even though what they find belongs to their father, that's only a monetary thing the Chazal made because he gives them food and everything. So they didn't want that the father should harbor bad feelings. They said that the Mitzvah has to go to the father. But that they have a hand, they're not like his hand. So therefore, if he gives it to them and they pick it up, it's as if it went out of his hand to someone else's hand. They pick it up and mezakeh to everyone. You could also do it they avde v'shivchos ivrim afilahim ktanim shakotem zoich afil lacherim b'dav shein elam devri seifrim v'de ishtoi. He could do it through his wife. Afabisha mal alom azonis, even though she eats from his hand. In other words, he brings home the matzah bowls. Shemitziyosa masiyadeh shaloi, and even though whatever she finds and all the work she does, if she has a job, the money goes to him. Her hand is like his hand. Someone could give her a matana with the condition that the husband doesn't get it. So therefore, she has an independent hand. The Yeshem, in the second opinion, disagrees. I don't care that the son and daughter is gedolim. Because whenever they find something, it goes to the father. Their hand is his hand. Even his daughter is bas mitzvah as long as she's not a begedes. We say Chazal didn't want that he should find her a bad shidduch. He's going to say any shidduch. A person is going to give the biggest dowry. So they wanted to appease the father, that her mitzvah goes to him. So because her mitzvah goes to him, so she doesn't have her own hand. Even if she's not eating out of his hand, because her mitzvah belongs to him, even if she has a separate house, but she lives with her husband. She is not a separate entity than her husband. If she wouldn't, if there was two houses, her and her husband, and there was a chotzer in between, it would never be also to carry in that chotzer. So therefore she has no hand to pick up a native. But if the Isha is mamish not milo her mezonus, afila ein lo bayis b'chotzer kivin she'yotziyosa shalo. If he's not milo or any mezonus, not stam he said simas yadayich v'zenasayich. He's not milo or any mezonus. So then kivin she'yotziyosa shalo. So that's the taina that Mrs. Voloshina had. She said, "I'm the rich woman. My husband is living off my back. So therefore, the holidays I could pick up the eight of them, be mazakit. Binyan halacha, b'makom she'af she'tov halacha she'dibrei shneim lahachmer b'bnoi hakotim she'enis lamachot shechana k'svar d'shoina. We should be machmer like the first swara, b'bnoi b'vitei begeres esmuchal shechana b'nai dafil onish esmuchal shechana. U'b'ishte shemayla l'mazonis k'var swara acheroina. Any woman that the husband's bringing home the matzah ball, she shouldn't be using her hand to be mezakit for others. Really, the ikar is like the first svara, that his wife does have a hand, but so in many cases today, the wife has an equal job like the husband. She could support the husband anyway. And even if it's not that case, the halacha k'divrei hamekel b'eidiv, so it's efshar. So a person could do it through his wife. I used to go to my Zayda's house before Pesach always. To do the sale of chametz. He wanted always to give a check. He insisted to give some money. So he always had the same story. He used to call my grandmother and ask her if she can bring a checkbook. And he always said the same story. You come in a man afroid to the doctor. Husband and wife came to the doctor, a psychologist, and they had, right away they broke out in an argument. He said that he's bringing her ziz the meshugana. She said she's bringing him. He's the meshugana. So the doctor said, "You know what? First, give me the check, give me the payment, then we'll talk. Who's the meshugana? Who's the patient?" So he turns to his wife. He says, "Darling, could you please take the checkbook and write out a check?" So she pulls out a pocketbook, takes out the check. How much is it? $180. She writes it out. She gives it to the doctor. My Zayd used to smile then and he'd say, "No." The doctor gesagt, "Sie halt the check, bichel. Sag mir, wer ist der meshugana?" So if she's holding the checkbook, then definitely she has a hand to pick up. And even if you're holding the checkbook, so then give her the checkbook, and then definitely she could. I mean, even if you didn't give her yet the checkbook, so the vaila, we can rely on Ishtoi has a hand, and also Bnoi and Bitoi that are over Bar and Bas Mitzvah. or better yet, that the daughter is already 13 years old, so then she's probably a begeris. Okay, now put on the unmute button if anyone has any Shailos.
Rabbi, what's a black minion?
A block minion are these minyonim
Yeah.
that people are making on the blocks, that people are standing in the front of their house on the porches and they're making a minion.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Perhaps they're balcony minions as well.
Balcony minions, block minions. Okay,
Yeah.
David Shizelhofen.
Hang on, I just had a question.
Yeah.
This came up, I think maybe I asked you, but maybe you'll address it again. I could see Joel across the street. Let's say I could see 10 guys from where I am. I'm on the second floor. We can hear each other. You know, I'll put on the amplifier, etc. Should we make a minion, even though we can see each other across the street? We're not in the same domain. And parents is here. We got, let's say, five picture windows with 10 people. Could we make a minion that way?
Not a good idea. I don't know. You have to know. It's not a good idea. I mean, you're gonna have buses in the meantime going by and disturbing. You're gonna hear. You're not gonna hear. It's gonna be all in your soima. It's not a good idea. I'm sorry.
We would rather do it on the internet. Just kidding. All right.
So, Son, does it still Kol Barama still has a minyonim online?
Every day.
Every day? Okay, so tune in to Kol Barama, and you'll hear the minyonim there.
Yeah, 7:20 Shachrit Israel time, 2:25 Mincha, and 7:45 Arvit.
Okay, very nice.
Beautiful minyanim, babe. 100,000 people watch it.
Where is that? Which one is that? I'm not familiar with that.
88.7 FM. 88.7 FM. Every day, the whole day, they have Shiurim, they have programs, songs, beautiful.
No, okay, Yashka. Thank you very much for that.
And by the way, the government get to do it.
Mhm.
Rabbi, I'd like to make a statement about a health advice that I know everybody knows about.
Sure, go ahead.
They found that people walking out today, that the virus, Shalom, could attach to the shoes. So what they want people to do is before they go into their house, I think that's fantastic, or you have Lysol, take off your shoes before you come into your house, spray those shoes, leave them out there so it can kill the virus, walk in with some slippers or something, and you don't have to bring it into the house. Shalom.
Very good. Good idea. Very good. I've been doing this since the beginning of this. Yeah, it's a good idea. Keep all the shoes in the front porch, and we keep a big spray over there.
We could have a good vote for the Rebbe, something special.
Tonight, firstly, tonight we're going to Fabreng tonight, and the Mitzvah Shem, the Fabreng is going to be Kfulum Chupelas. Kfulum Chupelas is that in general everything in Chag HaPesach is Kfulum Chupelas. Kfula is double, Chupelas is double of double. It's 4 times. So especially this year, Rabbi Sai, it's Shnas Hashivim. It's 70 years since the Rebbe's leadership. And Shivim is the Shleimus. There's a number of Shleimus. And we know that the Rebbe, there was a unbelievable Yisodus and the Tavshin Lamed Beis, and the Rebbe's birthday was 7 years since the Rebbe's birthday. That year is when they were singing the song B'cho Hashem Chavos. That was the theme of that year, and the Rebbe Fabrenged, and the Rebbe asked that we should give this. Shmini and Shirley, Shkayach for joining us at the Shiur.
I got Hayom.
So today is the Yom HaBoyer 70. It's the Rebbe's birthday. We're starting to say Kapitel Kuf Yutes, which is the most, which is considered the most choshev kapitel in Tehillim Tamne Apei. and it's Nasa Shivim. Shivim is the Shleimus of Avodas Hashem. So why is it Shleimus? Because the information is saying about Shivim Shana, and Shivim is the 7 midas that's the Avodas Hashem that a Yid has to do in his lifetime. The Alter Rebbe told his brother the Moichin will leave for Mashiach. That Mashiach is going to fix up, but very good. The Engelach with the Payas. So Baruch Hashem, we came to this Yom HaBoyer HaGodel, and today is definitely a day if you can call into the oil and ask for all the brachas. For all brachas. I'm going to give you now the number for the oil. You can call, or you could send in all brachas that we need. The number is 718-723-4545. 718-723-4545. Write in for all call Mila Demetev and Taibisha Shataka give for all Klal Yisrael that we should be mashlam all our avoid in our the 7 of 70, and then we should influence through that the 7 laws of Noach to the 70 nations. And B'meila, once we mashlam the avoid of the Shiva Amomim, for sure Mashiach Tzidkenu will come, and we'll have the kibush also of the 3 of Kenik Nizeh V'Kadmoini. L'chaim, l'chaim.
Anyone want the yum yum?
But first we got to sing a song. It's Yud Aleph Nissen. Hashem echosisi aleva ishalei olam lecha. Hashem echosisi aleva ishalei olam lecha. Hashem echosisi aleva ishalei olam lecha. Hashem chasiyasi alei v'ishalei olam lecha. Hashem chasiyasi alei v'ishalei olam lecha. Hashem chasiyasi alei v'ishalei olam.
On one's birthday, one should spend some time in seclusion. Well, we're ahead of that, bringing to mind recollections from the past and pondering over them. As to those of his bygone actions that call for rectification or repentance, one should repent and rectify them. The concept that the birthday of a tzaddik should be treated like a festival was revealed to the Hasidic community in gradual stages. In 1943, the Rebbe Rayatz related that on the eve of Chai El, exactly 50 years earlier, soon after his bar mitzvah in 1893, his father, the Rebbe Rashab, told him that on the next day he should wear his Shabbos clothes and omit Tachanun. And the next day, for the first time on that date, his father greeted him with a festive smile. Good Yom Tov. The Rebbe Rashab then proceeded to deliver a mimer for his son alone, as he also did on his own birthday, Chaf Mar Cheshvan. However, this practice was not made public, even when Hayom Yom was first published in 1943. Not all Hasidim realized that the above teaching on birthday customs was located in the present work on the day of the Rebbe's birthday. To explain the significance of a birthday, the Rebbe would often cite the statement of Yerushalmi, Talmud Yerushalmi, that on that day, Marzov Gaber, a person's spiritual root is dominant and helps him. Now, as it is taught in the Tanya, a Rebbe has a comprehensive soul, which is intimately linked with the neshamot of the entire Jewish people. Yud Aleph Nissen is thus a day on which the spiritual root of the entire Jewish people also shines powerfully.
Hello? We're closing already for 2 weeks.
David should helfen that all the bakoshes that we ask today should be in a smala 100% for all of us here in Beis Menachem Mendel and for all Klal Yisrael. We should be zoichet. The Mashiach should come, and since the Korban Pesach could be eaten if the tzibur is betuma, so we could still make the Korban Pesach. If Mashiach will come, b'sham noichel min azvachim min absachim. Okay.
If anybody going to the oil is empty. You have no paper, no pen, no shoes, nothing. The only thing is open over there is a sink to wash the hand. There's no place to write, nothing. So you're coming in, you go into the oil and out. That's it.
No.
Everything is empty.
I forgot to tell you. That's Simcha. Mindy just had a baby boy.
Who did?
My daughter, she went to the oil this morning, and then she went from there straight to the... She went to Methodist Hospital, 5:30 this morning, and 8:30 she had a baby boy. She was born on Yudalef Nissen.
She was born
on Yudalef Nissen. Yes, we had our first child on Yudalef Nissen. That's why we named her Nechama Mendel, because we had a baby Yudalef Nissen. We named her that day, but she'll name the Mitzvah the baby next Sunday.
And this is your first? Your first?
Yeah.
Your first baby?
Yeah, I'm a Zaidi. Shkoyach.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yes, Shkoyach everyone for the good brachas and
for the grandchild.
Yes, thank you. Yes, it's like yesterday.
So now we really have something to make.
When it was her birthday, it was the same Pius.
Yeah,
went to the hospital. It was the same Pius. Yudalef Nissen was on a Sunday.
How's it about naming the name?
This.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem. Yeah. Everyone that's on, that Mitzvah Hashem, you should have children and children's children. And Mitzvah from Surli and Shmuli, we should soon see good shidduchim for them. And they should have children in Mitzvah Hashem and children's children. Oiskim b'Torah b'mitzvahs.
Rabbi, how's it going
to Zaidi for a few hours? Give us a hint. How we feel to be a Zaidi?
How's it good?
I'll go to Shmulik. I'll find out from you, Shmulik.
You married a grandmother, a grandmother.
You can't name it. So,
how's it going to work on
the name? That's about it.
What, the name? But they'll do a bris. I don't know. Hopefully they'll open the borders by then. His father is a terrific moil. But the problem is he's in Toronto.
No, you can't go from Canada to New York. You can't go from New York to Canada.
The border is still closed?
Really closed. Nothing coming in. Nothing.
I feel bad for my son-in-law. He was. I know the last bris they had in the family. I went there. The father's a terrific moil.
You'll have to teach him now.
If you want
to give him lessons on Zoom.
Yeah.
Where you live in Connaughts?
Yeah. Well, they're going to be Pesach and Mitzvah Hashem. They'll be here.
So I could give him Levi Eber.
I guess they have no choice if the border is closed. Levi is doing bris now?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, okay.
He's watching himself very careful because he need to travel here and there, so he's very, very careful. Like masks, gloves, all the time.
The Abishah should protect him. It's not an easy thing.
Right.
Amen.
Okay. Yeah.
I heard.
So it's going to be a very nice upbringing tonight.
Emetz Hashem, yes. Allah bedike farbrengen.
We will start saying L'chaim now. Wait, by 8 o'clock we'll be already ready for the farbrengen.
What time?
8:30 tonight. Pinchas, 8:30 tonight.
ולא-
Yeah, 8:30. Pinchas, what do you say?
I heard a beautiful Torah on this year's very hard when we say Kol Zechvin Yetzev Yechul V'chule, but now there's a different parush on it. It says that it's a Et Ratzon, and it's Hashem Himself who's saying it, because the person can say, he's saying anybody that's hungry, let him come to ask for Hashem what we need, because He's the one that's saying it also.
Very nice. Very nice.
Very nice.
Today is a big Eis Rotzen, so the Eibusher should give Kol Dechvin, Bebroches, Begashmias, for good Parnasa, and Beruchnias, Naches, Bonne Chayim, Mezoyna Reviche.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, Shukar everyone for the good brachas. See you tonight, 8:30.
Have a good day.
Go for the Torah, Rabbi.
So the bris, if the bris in time could be on Sunday,
Yeah, it'll be Sunday. The Rebbe's bris was exactly that way.
it's
He was born
Chol
Yuda Aleph Nissen. His bris was on Chai Nissen.
it's Chol HaMoed.
Chol HaMoed, yeah, Sunday Chol HaMoed.
And it's going to be it's a pro.
Yeah.
We're reading that day on the Parsh on the laning. We're reading about pro.
But I'm not sure which day, because it's
Yeah, we are.
which day of Chol HaMoed. It's the second day of Chol HaMoed.
Sunday we're reading about pro.
Kol Bahar. Yeah, because you read the
Shabbos
you do Shabbos one, you read the third day whole night.
So Sunday we're reading about pro.
Mosh Chol Pesach b'Chamishi b'Shabbos. So then it's going to be Moshach Tura Psal Kodesh Kadeshli. Yep, you're right. Yep, you're right.
Because I made that opinion event for my Menachem, my Nochum.
Oh yeah,
And we read Kaddish Nikol Pro that day.
yeah. Moshach Tura Psal Kodesh. Yep.
Yeah.
So there'll be a pidyon habit.
If it's Hashem.
Yeah.
Rabbi, I don't know if you heard.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard, but they're saying that because of the COVID thing, that they're saying instead of burning the chametz, that it should be destroyed by bleach or throwing it down the bathroom.
Let me tell you what I think. I think
Okay.
it's you could do it that way too, but I see no big deal taking a pan, a 9x13 pan, putting it in your sink, and putting in a drop of lighter fluid and a match, and let it burn for 1 minute. It doesn't have to be ashes. It becomes pechem in 1 minute, and then you just turn on the sink, and then the wood, then you just put it neatly in a bag and you throw it out, and that's it. Try to do it early in the day. Most of us are going to have garbage pickup that day. Hopefully you're going to have that garbage.
It'll set off the
I
fire.
don't know about that. Confirm with the city.
If you have no choice, then you could do it that way. You could douse it with bleach and make it unedible, but I don't see a big deal out of taking a pan, a 9x13 pan, and then you could burn it inside your pan.
We'll do
I
it
don't
in
know
the
if the city's making special pickup this year.
Yeah, but anyway, Wednesday morning, for my block, Wednesday morning is, Tuesday morning is pickup.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not
Usually they
doing
make a
special
special
run?
pickup.
They're not doing
In
special
Bur-
pickup?
I'm not sure. In Borough Park, they announced that there are no public burnings and no extra pickups. So good for our Borough Park ones they pick
If
up
they
anyway, so.
if they did special pickups, then it would be easier to just douse it with what's it called, and then throw it out in the garbage, because you know the garbage truck will pick up before the man. If they want people to not make fires, then they should make special pickup. These two rules are a little bit, if they want people not to make fires, then they should make a special pickup. Anyway, I don't think it's a big deal. You could put it in a 9x13 pan and burn it in the pan.
Okay.
Good. Hatzlacha. We'll see everyone tonight, 8:30. Mitz Hashem.
Okay.
Okay, Hatzlacha.
Sure, go. Thanks, Rabbi.